Welcome, Shreyans, and I'm so happy to have you all here. A very good evening.
Thank you, Pia. Thank you so much. It's my privilege, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you to all the participants. It's really my honor to be with you all. Thank you today.
Yes, it's an honor to have Shreyans here. I've known Shreyans now for almost a decade, I believe. And I would be very happy to share about him. Shreyans is a managing director. He's a great, amazing entrepreneur, a very humble soul. He's been the managing director of Betul Oil, and he's seen a radical growth. It's grown more than 10 times or more, maybe more, 20 times ever since that he started to work, take up that responsibility. He's been instrumental in setting up many other retail networks of Betul Oil, and he's been also director of Betul Oils and Feeds Private Limited, Hygiene Seeds, Honeybee Crop, and Indigo Kids, Navinia Multi Trade, and Thrive, and many more. And of course, the most important thing is what I would like to share is this beautiful, amazing person. He's also he started his journey way back when he was just 19 years old, and something happened. He had a major medical illness, and with that he was introduced to meditation. He's never looked back. He's always been practicing meditation, spreading mindfulness. He started the Pyramid Valley in Bangalore, which has also hosted and he's facilitated 10 global congress of spiritual scientists. This specific it's a energy point in itself in India. It's just the energy, you just have to feel it with the beautiful pyramid and the meditation energy around. It's a it's a beautiful PowerPoint like Kailash Parvat. And then now I'm also very thrilled that Shreyans recently, I mean, since in the last 1 year, I believe 1.5 years, he started to facilitate his many workshops. His Many people got transformed just by being with him and his energy, and many people persuaded him, including me, that you should also reach out in a bigger way. And he's now become a global figure. He's been conducting many of his workshops now online, which he was also doing for in Mumbai and other locations. But now he's doing a lot of that work, empowering people. His mission is to empower and transform souls, and to share how he has transformed his life. He knows, he believes that with correct knowledge and habitual meditative practice, one can accomplish extraordinary success, be it in relation to health, wealth, happiness, or general well being. So, isn't that what we all want? So, I'm here to have a conversation here with Shreyans, but we'll not just restrict it to the workplace, but basically how he's a master of manifestation. He's a master of how do you manifest your best in your life, and how do you attract the best. So how do you attract the best in the best, and how do you attract what you want to manifest in at your workplace? So that is what we'll be mainly focusing upon. But before that, I would like you to share a little bit more, whatever I have missed out. Shreyans, we would like to hear about you.
No, thank you, Priya. That was quite elaborate. So I don't have much to add. You added more than what I would otherwise have said.
It all started with your father's demise, as I know. You know how this
Okay.
whole thing started, the journey.
So, yeah. So, 1996, my father had passed away, and then it was a very sudden death. So, I was going through a state of depression for those 6 months immediately after his death. And after 6 months, I was detected of chest TB. And, detected of chest TB, that was the day I decided that I do not want my life to go on like that. It was like a big wake up call for me. Because if I'm going to let my life slip by like this, then I'm doomed. So I had to do something about it. So I remember that day I went to the temple, prayed to God, cried a lot, and said, God, I need help. I need really some guidance. I need somebody to help me to take this out of this emotional pain or grief or the trauma which I'm going through.
Mm.
And as luck would have had it, or as it said that whenever the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So my sister called up and told me that one meditation teacher or one Brahmashi Patriji, he is popularly known as, that he's coming to Bombay and can he stay with you? So I said absolutely fine. So he stayed with me, and next day he saw me taking the medicines for the TB, and he asked me that what is this medicine. So I told him, sir, I was just director of TB yesterday only, so that's why I started taking these medicines now. So he said, you don't need to, and he knew about my father's death. So he said, you don't need to take any medicines because your TB is like a fire alarm. And if you're taking this medicine, you're only shutting the fire alarm. But the fire, which is your grief, which is your pain, or which is a feeling of loss, that emptiness, that will still continue.
True.
So you're not going to really help, and this disease will turn into some other form and some other thing. So in the long run, you're not really helping yourself. So that thing really struck me. And then I asked him, then how do I do meditation? I've never done meditation in my life. And he told me that, and then I asked him, how do I heal myself then? He said, the best way to heal yourself is through meditation. And I told him that then I'm ready. I mean, and that's why he said, that's what I am here for today. It's no coincidence. And then he and me alone, he played a beautiful flute and guided me into simple Anapanasati meditation, just observing the breath. And we probably meditated for around 40 minutes. And during the course of the meditation, I was feeling a strong force of energy flowing into my chest. I had a chest tuberculosis, so I felt a strong energy flowing into my chest. And after 40 minutes, when I opened my eyes, I felt so relaxed. That feeling was so profound that I forgot that feeling of relaxation since last 6 months, as if I had taken the energy bath after 6 months. It was such a peaceful and relaxed feeling that for that moment I forgot all the anxiety. Everything vanished away. Otherwise I was going through a lot of anxiety. How will be my future be? What will be what happened to my mother? What will happen to my younger brother who's 11 years younger to me, was only 8 years. So a lot of thoughts were there. What will happen to my business? All those survival based emotions were like fully charged onto me for those 6 months. And only after that moment I felt such a sense of relaxation. And then he told me that if you meditate for next 40 days, you can heal yourself of TB completely. You don't need to take any medicines. So I believed him. Somehow that feeling itself was so empowering that I believed him, and I didn't take any medicines henceforth. And after 1 month, when I was due for my chest X-ray, I got my X-ray done, and the TB was completely gone, and just through meditation. And that was a really turning point of me in my life. And then I decided that in this lifetime, I want to spread my life teaching meditation, spreading meditation to all of everyone. And that's how I got back to Brahmashi Patriji. And then that's how my whole journey into spirituality started. And of course, through Patriji, I met Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi, whom you all know. And that's how I met so many beautiful souls. But Brahmashi Patriji, Brahmashi Pitama Patriji, and Dr. Newton are the two pillars of my spiritual journey and my spiritual growth. And I owe a lot of my growth, not only spiritually, but even my financial success to them, because through that, I understood the law of attraction, and of course, my journey again further went ahead with a lot of other spiritual masters like Ramtha, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, and a lot of many quantum physicists and scientists. And
In
and
fact,
yeah,
you
so
have been the one who kind of introduced those beautiful masters to so many in India. In case if Shreyans wouldn't have been there, he was the first one who used to facilitate, get things arranged for Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi's workshops in Mumbai way back in 2000. And he and his wife, Pinky Daga, they have they have two beautiful children, one who's in 11th standard. And right now, actually, Shreyans is in my neighboring country. in the UK, where his son is settling down for his in his boarding school for his 11th standard, and his second son is in 6th standard, I believe, right, Kabu?
Yeah, Kabir
Yes.
and six.
And so he's a complete person, a family person who lives life to the fullest, who really has flourished in his work, as well as his entire family life, bonding with everybody. I've never seen him agitated. So, how do you firstly maintain the calm and do so much? What is that secret? Okay, would you like to share that with us? What is the secret
So
behind it?
honestly, I don't maintain it. I think meditation helps me, and meditation helps me to maintain that to keep that natural state,
Mm,
and there are days when I'm not meditating. I do get agitated, and I feel the difference. The day I'm meditating and the day I'm not, I definitely feel the difference.
absolutely.
So I feel it is purely because of meditation. Yeah,
It's like when you have a bath and you don't have a bath, you know the difference. So when you
absolutely.
really start to meditate, it's like having a bath and a soul bath. If you don't do it, then yeah, you
Yeah.
feel the
So
difference.
because whatever we do in our life is for an emotional payoff, right? And uh, if I do this, then I'll be happy. If I do this, then I'll be happy. But the
Correct.
same payoff we can get through meditation, because once we connect to our own source, we connect to that pure positive energy of pure love, joy, happiness, and then so that's what meditation does, and that's why I love to propagate meditation and teach meditation, because once you are into that meditation state, you draw from your own source, and your
Right.
source is your best resource, it's your ultimate resource, and then happiness or your peace or calm is your natural state, and then everything what you're doing is from that state.
Perfect. And now would we like to shift, how do we use meditation to also attract what we want to attract or manifest in our lives, especially it could be at the workplace as well as maybe for relationships. How have you used it, or would you like to share your practices?
So I'll just tell you how I started using it at my workplace. When I started doing meditation regularly, I read a book, A Power of Creative Visualization and the Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Murphy. So that was my big first introduction to, oh, the subconscious is so powerful, and what is creative visualization.
Hmm.
The Art of Creative Visualization by Ursula Markham. So that was the first two books I read ever actually in my life in terms of alternative wellness. So so I started with that and then started practicing it in my life. And I remember when I started after I came out of my depression and after I healed myself TB, I started going to office for my work,
Mm-hmm.
and my work was going through a very challenging phase.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a factory which was shut down. I had no money to pay salary after 3 days, and I needed minimum 2 crores to actually start running the factory. So I started visualizing that I have already received 2 crores, and I felt as if I already have it, and my factory is running, and I've paid the salary of all my employees, and so and then after 2 days, I met a buyer, and then I requested him that I can sell you the goods, but I need an advance. Only I cannot, and I was meeting him for the first time, and he gave me a check of 2 crores exactly. And I was wondering why didn't I ask for 5 crores?
Oh, wow.
And that's how I started my factory. And since then, I've been using constantly the visualization tools and combination of meditation with visualization, and it has worked amazingly. Having said that, I mean, there are a lot of times in my life where I've tried it too hard, but I've not. It has not manifested. It has not worked.
Mm.
And that really started my quest. That if manifestation is a science, then why is it not working every time? I mean,
Exactly.
why
Because
is it
many times
working?
it doesn't work.
Yeah,
That is my question also.
yeah. So when it is working sometimes and it is not working, and that started my quest into quantum physics and quantum science, and that gave me the real answer. That that's where I found my answer, and that's what I've been teaching since the last 2 years. the quantum
Yeah,
living. Yeah.
please share it a little with us. What is it that, yeah, of course, I know it's almost a 2-day workshop, but if you, is it like the energy that we emit, or what is it?
Yeah, so we know that we are all energy, right? Everything is energy. And so really, if you want to, whatever you want to manifest in your life, first is we have to really feel it as if you already have it. So
Hmm.
you have to, the feeling plays an important part. Most of the time what happens is we want to attract abundance, but we are feeling lack, right? Or we want to attract, say, wholeness or a great body or a great health, but we are feeling sick. Or if you want to attract a great relationship, but we are feeling hurt or grievance or resentment or some feeling broken. So we are not able to match our thoughts with those elevated emotions.
Hmm. Correct.
And what happens is whatever we have in the life's offering to survive, and with so many lifetimes, and by the 95% of who we are by the age of 35
Hmm.
is a set of same repeated hardwired thoughts, behaviors, and actions, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
we think more than 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day coming from our past beliefs, past attitudes, our beliefs which we gained from our mothers, our fathers, our friends, our trends, our teachers, our preachers, and our
Correct.
environment. And then we carry the same belief system.
Correct.
So that's why, and what happens is over a period of time, these belief systems, these emotions are nothing but a record of the past,
Hmm.
right? It becomes hardwired into our brain, and then we are naturally, and then our beliefs drive our behaviors.
Hmm.
And then we are naturally making all the choices from those beliefs, from those attitudes, from those hardwired patterns. So we think, so any event or any situation happens in our life, so we think that we are making a new choice, but actually we are making the choice only from our past. We are only looking at everything happens, we are only looking at from the lens of the past.
Right. Right.
So we
Absolutely.
want new things, we want abundance, or we want great relationship, we want new things to happen in our life, but we are not. But if you make the same choice, which will lead you to same behavior, which will lead you to the same action, then how is the life going to change,
Correct. Correct.
right? So to really make a change, first you have to become aware of our hardwired patterns. So we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of those thoughts are coming from the past. So,
Correct.
so we have to really be aware of our thoughts. So that's where mindfulness comes in, to be
Right.
very aware of our old hardwired patterns.
Really work on those subconscious patterns, and right.
Yeah. And the
Right.
one tool which really helps you is, of course, meditation
Hmm.
and combination with mindfulness.
Mindfulness, and
Because
I think reflection also, reflecting on what you really realizing what those, really digging into those.
right, right. So mindfulness gives you that awareness, basically,
Absolutely.
and with that awareness, you are able to reflect. Oh, is so whether our thoughts are aligned with my future vision, or
Absolutely.
it is being aligned with my past, or being I'm only living my past. So we have a
Correct.
choice. Either we can be a host to your future, or either we can be hostage to your past.
Correct. 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 Absolutely. Wow. So, can you share a scenario, which was wherein beautifully, you gave us one scenario how you got the 2 crores, but can you give me another scenario where really it worked and it was just very magical, and one place where when it didn't work as much, and how you kind of shifted it, how you kind of worked it around and, made it happen at workplace especially.
So I can give you many examples, but and it's a daily thing. So I'll give you one example where I was given a job of for the Pyramid Valley. Patri sir told me that this is the land in Bangalore, and you have to take the responsibility of building a pyramid there. And when I took the responsibility, got that vision that, I want to make the Asia's largest pyramid for meditation, and probably the world's largest pyramid for meditation. It should be it should not be just a pyramid. It should be like a monument, where it becomes like a source of inspiration for everybody. So
Absolutely.
that was my vision. And at that time, I was doing average. My business was fine. And of course, I was in a joint family. And so there was a challenge that how do I withdraw so much money to build a pyramid like this?
Yeah.
But yeah, but the universe, how the universe makes a plan. And we went through a lot of challenges in between time because we did not have money to even buy a land at the first place. But the vision, I had the vision of building a pyramid, and I actually did not visualize about money. I visualize that the pyramid is there, and I'm that the freedom, the inspiration when I see this pyramid, when I'm in that land, and how it is transforming the people around, the world around. So that was my vision, and I was living that dream every day.
Mm,
Every time I would go to Pyramid Valley, I would feel so inspired. So
mm,
that was my dream every day. And then I felt that everything conspired to actually make it happen. So in a
mm,
way, my business was doing average. All of a sudden, my business, I was in a edible oil manufacturing and commodity trading.
mm.
So it's very speculative business, right? So all of a sudden, I started making windfall profits.
Wow.
And I'm wondering, I did not work hard for it, I'm just making so much of money. And I was wondering why. I mean, or how. I mean, in my same industry, industry is going through a challenging time. People are going through tough times, and how come I am making so much of money? And then I was making so much of money that whatever money which I was diverting for
Mm,
building pyramid did not, in the whole scheme of things, did not even bother my family members.
wow.
They actually had no objection because that was only a portion of what I was making.
Yeah.
So
Fraction of it.
so all of a sudden there was no question. When I first gave, everybody asked, "Why are you giving?" Of course, I mean, my family was not totally aligned with the spiritual cause because they were very religious mindset.
Yes.
Give for religion, it is fine, but how can you give for building a pyramid? What is this pyramid?
Mm. What is a pyramid?
And they were very against for me to meditate also initially, because
Yeah.
they were thinking, oh, you should go to temple puja, why are you meditating?
Yeah.
So yeah, so
This is not the age to meditate.
yeah, this is not the age to meditate. What if you leave everything, and what are you doing?
Yes. Yes.
So like a normal belief system, how traditional families, religious families have those beliefs. So
Yes.
uh, but then magically everything changed. My business started doing good, so I never focused on, oh, I want to have a great business, because I was very content with anyways the way I was growing. But of course I wanted the pyramid to come in, and I wanted the money for the pyramid. But then maybe I needed, say if I needed 10 crores for the pyramid, the universe gave me 100, so it gave me manifold.
Right.
It gave me
Amazing.
manifold. And uh, and honestly, I didn't feel that I worked hard for it. Most of the time, I mean, it came with effortless ease. In fact, most of the time, the project which I worked very hard, a lot of times I did not gain success. But most of the time, which really gave me success came very with a lot of effortless ease and very synchronistically. I
Mm.
somehow I met that person, and that person I had no. So the major money which I invested in, made in my business is actually I did not even put in money. Somebody deployed money, and they said, okay, you run it and I'll invest the money. And so they were my side businesses. Were not even my main businesses. And
Mm.
the side business became my main business. So
Wow.
so I
Super. Amazing.
yeah.
Wow. And but as you were saying, Shreyans, for many of the people who are joining, and for many of the people who are entrepreneurs, this might be a question. They might be having a partnership, right? Sometimes one partner is inclined and want to try and really want to manifest in a certain way, and really believe in the law of attraction, but the other partner doesn't. And or sometimes we have employees who are really, their skill set is really good, but they are not kind of aligned. So how do you shift that, and how have you worked through this kind of a challenge?
So, I would rather focus on what I want than rather than what I do not want. What happens is when we are surrounded by sometimes who are not aligned with you,
Hmm.
or even a people or a situation or a
Hmm.
business environment in anything, which is
Hmm.
not aligned to your vision or to your goal, and we are facing those challenges. It could be
Hmm.
people, places, things, time, and event. It could be anything. So most of the time, what troubles you most is what you pay most attention to,
Hmm.
right? And through your attention, your energy is the currency of the universe, and through your attention, you buy more of that experience.
Right. You're giving more energy to it, and it is going to amplify.
Yeah, what you focus on will expand, right?
Correct. So you have to focus on what you really want.
So withdraw your attention from what you do not want. That is
Correct.
the trick. Because
Correct.
usually we because if it's an issue, it's a problem, we try to keep focusing more on that. So
Correct.
what I try to use as a tool is withdraw my attention from what I do not want. Consciously withdraw my attention
Hmm.
and divert my attention on what I really want. Be aligned with my vision, with my future vision,
Hmm.
which is aligned to my dream. And once you're aligned with your dream, and feel it as if it's already happened. So
Hmm.
I do not like to be obsessed by physical manifestation.
Hmm. Hmm.
My obsession is with emotional manifestation.
Correct.
So how would you feel if it is already manifested? So focus on that feeling, manifest it emotionally. If
Right.
you're manifested it emotionally, physical manifestation will follow.
Right. Right.
Your vibration always precedes manifestation. So
Correct.
that's why meditation is a great tool to help you feel those feelings. Because once you're surrounded by all the survival based situations, where maybe a business is going through a challenge, or maybe you're not aligning with your partner, any challenging situations, most of the attention goes on those situations,
Right.
right? So and you feel worried, you feel anxious, you feel the anxiety. Like worry is a prayer for for manifesting what you do not want, because through worry you are speculating the worst outcome, and with your attention, your energy is flowing through that to the worst outcome, to speculation of the outcome, and then you are increasing the probability of manifesting that in your life. So what
Right.
you feel is what you attract in your life. Your feelings are equal to prayer.
Right.
It's a simple law. What you're feeling is what you're praying for.
Right.
So I always like to take my feeling as a guidance system. and
Hmm.
and a lot of times when you're faced with challenging situation, you of course you go into the survival mode.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like suppose there's an income tax search in my house,
Obviously.
or there's a income tax notice which has been served to me, and there's a huge amount of penalty or some amount which has been slapped on me. So it is natural for us to go into the survival mode. But what I like to look at it, not to elongate that emotional cycle.
You
How
have to
to,
kind of get back and become aware and get
yeah,
back.
how to take my time out. Maybe rather than being bogged down by by the situation, I
Hmm.
like to retreat from that situation for the time being,
Hmm.
right? And maybe meditate, maybe connect to my source energy,
Hmm.
and go into that pure positive energy. Once
Hmm.
I'm aligned with that situation, then even my efforts, even my choices which will make, even the decisions which I'll make, it is more likely that I'll make the right choice,
Right choice. Correct.
right?
When you're
and,
in
and
that
then
calm state.
even and then my and when I align with my vision that no, everything will be fine, help is on my way,
Hmm.
then even your efforts are more inspired. Efforts are not required, then efforts are inspired,
Correct. Correct.
right? And most of the time when we are focused on the challenging situation, then it becomes effort. It's like hard work. Oh my god, it's like climbing a mountain. It's like a like
Absolutely.
it's like everything is so hard, and life is a challenge, and all our belief systems kick in.
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
uh, so I feel that's why meditation is a great tool to really help you. And I feel anybody who's intelligent will meditate, even for
Hmm.
work, because first focus, the universe does not care. Your soul does not care for what you do for your living,
Mm,
nor will you care when you vacate the body.
exactly.
Right? The truth is, we are all spiritual beings to have a human experience.
Correct. Correct.
Right? So what your soul cares is your state of being while you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Right? So
That's,
if
I
you
think that's
want,
so important to note that, ultimately what the soul cares is how you did it, not what you did. So
right, right,
feeling behind the energy behind it, and that is what retains. That's what we carry, not what we did. So whether I did, a great service, externally a great service, but internally I was not having the vibration of a dana, or really that selfless service, if it was inspired by some of our own mental afflictions, then yeah, I think that's very important. Wow.
right. So the journey is, it's mainly internal. The journey is not external. So, and a lot of times, even in businesses, we are mostly driven out of, competition and how you want to prove to the world. So,
Right.
so your very angle is coming from the lack.
How do you shift this competition within you? How do you shift that? Because I think that is just so ingrained from our childhood. Everything, see this boy, see how he's doing. So that is something, I think that is a way that we've used. I know that, we both, in a way, from a parenting perspective also, and from a work perspective, how do you shift that? How do you make this shift from a competition to a collaboration, or to a creation?
Cooperation, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cooperation.
So, yeah. So, the first thing is what is important is having content, being for what you already have.
Mm,
I think the key pillar of manifestation is satisfaction, that content.
mm.
Feel the fulfillment of what you already have in your life. The fact that we are alive and we are talking to each other is a reason enough to feel grateful. So I feel gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership.
Mm.
The more you are thankful for what you already have in your life, you will manifest more of what you can be thankful for, because
Yeah.
that is the vibration you are emitting to the quantum field, to the universe. And the law of attraction is that the thoughts are electric and the feelings are magnetic.
Magnetic.
The thoughts send the signal out, but it is the feelings which draw the event back, right? So once we feel that satisfaction, once we feel that contentment, that fulfillment, that gratitude, then you'll attract more of the situations which will give you more of that feeling. Then you're not coming from the space of lack.
Hmm.
Because if you're manifesting, if you're trying to create something from the space of lack, then what you resist, you persist.
Correct.
If you're focusing, if your energy is on the lack, and then you'll manifest more of that. And that is why,
Yeah. When we compare, that's what we are doing. We are comparing that I don't have this and the other person has it. So it's coming from the sense of lack. So rather than that, focusing, yes.
and that's why success, a lot of time people attain success, they get a lot of wealth in their life, but they're not able to sustain that wealth. They
Hmm.
again lose that wealth because at one time they had a great vibration energy, they manifested enough wealth, but the moment they got the wealth, they are no more satisfied, they're no
Hmm.
more content. Now
Hmm.
they're driven by competition. Now they have a higher vision, they have a higher ambition. Oh, now I want more, I want more. So rather than being content, rather than enjoying the beginning, rather than enjoying the journey, rather they get caught up in doing things, and they caught up with that social psychology. Oh, if you have achieved 100, then you have to go to 1,000. If you achieve 1,000, you have to go to 10,000, right? So we get so caught up in doing
Hmm.
that we forget being,
Right.
and then you again lose your wealth.
Yeah.
So manifestation is not about
Do.
is not about just doing, because in doing too much is you can also make wrong choices, right?
Right.
It's not necessary that if you're doing, you'll make the right choices every time.
Right.
When you're not coming from the state of being, from the true being, then you will make the wrong choices, and wrong choices will lead to the consequences which you do not desire. You
Absolutely.
may desire it mentally, but emotionally or vibrationally you're not synced with it. But
Yes.
the law of attraction will exactly give you what you're emotionally synced with it.
Exactly.
So give more time. I like to give more focus, more time in syncing myself emotionally, vibrationally. That's where meditation, mindfulness comes in, and then less time in giving actions.
Wow. And I know that you have, you've devised so many beautiful meditations. And would you be happy to also share one with us today?
Sure, I would love to. I mean, for me, I always believe that knowledge with experience is what makes the difference. Because knowledge without experience
Yeah.
is just a philosophy,
Right.
and experience without knowledge is ignorance.
Yeah.
But when we combine that knowledge with experience, then it turns into wisdom or evolution. So
Yes.
that's why all my talks are always combined with meditation. And
Yes.
if you give me that opportunity, then of course I would love to share the meditation with all of
But before we go into the meditation, I would also like one more thing that I think, kind of been a big fan of you, and I've seen a very quantum and a very beautiful change, especially in the last few years, last 3 4 years, especially after you started Thrive, and along with your wife. So I think this was one of your ventures with your wife, and so I'm sure there might have been. Um, there was common vision, but there might have been conflicts, there might have been brainstorming, and just so beautifully things have, it's like the lotus has bloomed so beautifully. So would you like to share a little about Thrive and the work of Thrive before
So
we get into
Thrive is Thrive is is a project which is started by my wife predominantly, and she is the founder and the heart and soul behind it. Having said that, I always had a vision that a lot of spiritual people, a lot of spiritual healers and therapists, they are good at what they're doing. They are good at healing, therapy, and healing, and into different modalities of teaching or whatever. But they are not good at marketing,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
So why should they focus on energy on marketing, and then they get, and then half the time they get very few participants or very few but where they can do a lot. So why not have a platform which, why not create a platform, a digital platform which can create all these healers and therapists with the seekers.
Correct.
So that was my idea.
Hmm.
Having said that, it was still an idea, and
Hmm.
then uh, my wife came in the whole picture, and she herself, she was running a company called Indigo Kids for the children's play, and she said, this is not more driving me now. I want to start this, and that was exactly there in my mind. But of course, I didn't tell her.
Hmm.
But but then she started it, and I just supported her.
Hmm. Hmm.
So and most of the things which has come in my life, so it's, though it is my dream, but it's a shared dream, and all the hard work and the action has been put with my wife.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but this is how it is, everything in my life, whether it is my business or whether it is Thrive or whether it is Pyramid Valley. I
Pyramid.
genuinely believe, and the truth is, I have not worked hard for anything. Even for Pyramid Valley, I've got a team of beautiful trustees who are putting all the hard work into action. And I only dream, I only think, and I only visualize. And I create it from my emotion and my feeling. And I feel the universe conspires to make it happen for me.
You are the Brahma.
So no, I think we all are. We all are. Well, we all are creators. We all create our own reality.
Yeah.
So it is whether we are, it's just that few things we are conscious of, few things we are creating it unconsciously. But we all are creators. If I'm talking to you, we are all gods, right? If I'm talking to you, I'm looking in the eye of God. We came down here as creators and not as reactors, right?
Correct.
Sure. I think Mridul, you want to ask a question? Maybe.
Yep. Yeah. Hi. Hi. Just give me a minute.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Shreyans. Uh,
Hi, Mithil.
hi. Fantastic meditation, Shreyans.
Thank
This is
you.
the second time I've done this.
Oh, nice.
And this feels really powerful. And my question is, I'm feeling limited in the
Mm.
sense I have a vision. I'm visualizing what I want, but when I'm doing that manifestation stage, in that imagination stage, I'm not able to elevate my emotions.
Right.
Uh,
So what you need to do is, good question, and it's again sometimes a common experience. So one thing is that when you are in the first stage, that first and the brain currents in the hard currents, then maybe spend more time in hard currents. When you do it at your own pace, own time, you can
okay.
spend more time in hard currents. And once you're able to spend more time, then you're again when you're breathing from your heart, eventually your heart will open, and then you can feel the elevated emotion. Now if you do not feel it in spite of that, then when whatever you're visualizing, be as general as you can be, don't be specific, right? So that your belief system will accept it. A lot of times our belief sabotages these emotions,
Yeah, you're
because
right.
our body is our unconscious mind, and that
Yeah,
unconscious mind is coming from a past
yeah,
and doesn't let it flow, it doesn't let it experience it, because we are conditioned to our past.
yes,
So what you need to do is be as generous. So suppose I want more abundance in my life.
yeah,
So rather than saying, "Oh, I want X amount of money in my life," I will say, "Money is flowing into my life freely and abundantly. My financial situation is improving every day."
okay,
Right? So when you're general, now it's easy for you to believe that, right? And then the feeling will flow.
right,
So what
right.
is more important is the feeling should flow. There's no point having a great vision but not feeling it. So
Yeah,
maybe start with the smaller vision
okay,
where you can believe it and you can actually feel it.
absolutely right. I think
Yeah.
you nailed it down very rightly. I was feeling very deprived, so I was, when I was wanting to, feel that elevated emotion, but my body was telling me, like, नहीं ये तो आपको नहीं मिल सकता है ये, so that feeling, that past was coming. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Thank
So in that case, be as general as you can be.
Okay, all right. I'll try that once again. Thank you so much, Shane.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Super. I think we had two more people. I'm wanting to ask the question.
Hello,
Were they? Yes, yes.
can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Priya, this is Sunita, Preeti's friend from Mumbai. Hi.
Hi, Sunita. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Can I see you? It's been so
One
long.
second. 1 second. 1 second. Let me try. Uh, can you?
Yes. So Sunita is
Hi.
also an
Hi.
actress, and
Hi,
she's
Sunita.
Hi.
yes.
Hi.
Yes, Sunita, please.
Yeah, my question is Preeti, that is Dr. Preeti Kohli, she
Yeah.
introduced me to the book about Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Right.
and I have been following it for a certain period of time. So recently, following those methods, which a lot of it was pretty common to what you were also saying,
True. True.
I manifested a particular project, and I
Right.
really, really tried. And finally, I was selected for the project. I was obviously really very thrilled. Then I got the news that because of COVID, the project has been cancelled. So, what am I to learn from this entire experience?
Good. So a lot of times we feel that we are going, and then in the
Mhm.
end, things do not manifest or does not go the way they want.
I mean, I got selected. So,
Yeah.
in a
Right.
way, I reached a certain point. And then I
Right.
get a message from them saying, I'm sorry, we are abandoning the whole project.
Right. So
So,
as a life challenge, whenever life you face this kind of challenges or any contrast
Mhm.
situations, they are meant. These are only reflection or somewhere where you need to see what is. So you have to accept it, allow it to be the way it is,
okay,
and believe that it is in the highest good,
okay,
right? And
okay,
sometimes it is also for a lesson. Sometimes there's some lesson which needs to be learned.
yes,
So the beauty is, what are we manifesting for? What we are manifesting for the emotional payoff, right?
yes,
So don't be drifted away from that payoff because it is not manifested. Maintain, give that emotional, I mean, have that emotional payoff through meditation and feel it as if it's already happened.
Okay.
And when you feel it as if it's already happened, with the emotional payoff is already there, then how can you, then you will not feel that lack or that wanting for it still. Because
Okay.
how can you want when you feel so whole?
When I've already got it.
When you already got it, because
Okay.
right, when how can you want when you feel so whole? So in your mind and your heart, you already manifested, and when you do that, that is when you will see the magic. Because then you may have thought of one thing, through that you will get that feeling, but universe will plan maybe 10 more things to get that same feeling for you in different other ways.
Okay.
Right, in our logic mind we think this is the only way, but then once we feel it, then we also step into the field of unknown, and unknown is the field of infinite possibilities. So you'll draw the situation in your life. So maintain. So it's a choice, whether you want to be, you want your condition to change your emotion, or you want your emotion to change your condition. So if you focus on your emotion, your condition will change. So it doesn't matter if you've thought it a certain way, it will come in multiple other ways. It will become as a wonderment and surprise, and you will feel magical. That's what coincidences are called. Coincidence means co-creating incidences.
Yeah.
Right?
So
And true richness.
Something bigger, better, and more suited for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And true richness is emotional richness. So maintain that emotional richness.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely, Shreyans. Anyone? One more question.
Wayne Dyer said, "A mind which is open to all and attached to nothing." So you have to, of course, we manifest, but at the same time, because we are not coming from the lack, we are not attached to it. We are not attached to the outcome. Even Gita says, right? Karm karo, phal ki chinta mat karo. So don't be attached with the outcome. The moment you get attached with the outcome, you identify with that situation so much that you lose the bigger picture.
So once, supposing I'm manifesting for something, so it's like I do it a few days, then I just let go and I do not manifest about it anymore. Is that the way you're saying?
Yeah. So as long, see, manifestation is what is more important is staying in the feeling. It's not about that specific thing.
Yeah.
It's about what is the feeling if that specific thing will give.
Okay.
So maintain that. If you're maintaining that modified state of that feeling, the universe does only understand the language of the feeling.
Okay.
So if you are maintaining that modified state of that feeling, then it doesn't matter whether it is one thing or it could come in different ways, right?
No, my question is that once I've surrendered it to the universe, do
Yeah.
I even need to think about it anymore or manifest it for a second time? Like today,
Of course, because the idea is about feeling. The more you will think about it, the more you'll be able to maintain that elevated emotion. Every thought has a chemical reaction which makes your body feel. So, right? So it's like if you're planting a seed, you cannot say I planted a seed and I'm done with it. You need to water it. You make sure that it gets the sunlight. You need to feed it with your emotion.
You need to keep nurturing it.
Nurturing with your emotion.
Okay.
Once you maintain it, keep emotionally nurturing it, then you'll draw it into your life.
Okay.
And when you're maintaining it emotionally, then you will make those choices. When you wake up from a meditation, when you are surrounded by life choices, you will make up choices coming from those emotions.
Okay.
You only choose what is in vibrational alignment with your emotion.
With my emotions.
So you'll make the right choices. Okay. And then you'll not even require efforts. It does not mean that you'll not take action. Of course, you need to take action, but then actions are inspired. Actions is no more hard work. It's no more effort. Efforts are not required. Efforts are inspired.
Okay.
Because you're aligned with your vision.
Wow, just so beautiful.
Like you spoke about planting a seed. Should one just plant one seed at a time, or is it okay to sort of go in for a, more?
See, if you can plant one seed and stay with an emotion, then you can move to next. If you have planted one seed, but you're not able to still manifest the emotion, then there's no point moving to next, right?
Okay.
So your emotional guidance system will guide you. Am I really feeling it? If I'm feeling it, then I can move to next, and then again feel for it. Then again I'm feeling it, then move to
Okay.
next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Your emotions are the compass. That is the one that will guide you. Are you
Okay.
ready to move in the next direction or the further direction?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priya.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Sunita. We have Bhaskar who was on wanting to ask. Bhaskar ji, yes.
Yes, Ji. Namaste, Srin ji and
Yeah.
Priya ji.
Namaste. Namaste, Bhaskar.
Namaste. I could able to connect to the guided meditation, and I felt like every cell of my body is vibrating with these guidelines, and the heart expansion and the intention of my vision expansion and the realization, and finally the surrender and the gratitude mode. Everything went well, and still
Thank
I
you.
could feel that vibration in the body.
Nice.
So I got one doubt. This meditation I need to do regularly.
Yeah, do it regularly.
That is one question. And second, normally I am the regular meditator. I am doing normal this Anapanasati meditation. So this
Right.
how we can club both, or like I can stop that or continue this.
No. Don't stop that. I mean, in
Yeah.
fact, the first part, breath coherence, is Anapansati.
Yes.
And so you can mix it whenever you feel it. You can some days you can do this meditation, some days you can do Anapansati. But Anapansati is the foundation.
Yes. Yes.
And again, Anapansati also helps you evoke those, even though you're not specifically thinking of something, but
Yeah.
it also helps you evoke those pure positive feeling.
Okay.
And even with that, spontaneously, you will draw things into your life, So even without you specifically intending for something, but this is more about intending for something specific.
Okay. And this Anapanasati, when I'm doing like I'm feeling this awakening of these chakras.
Right.
So after this Sahasra, I'm feeling many times in the body vibration, like unknowingly it is happening.
Right.
So because I'm doing more time, so after certain time, automatically the body by on its own it is going to the nature's control.
Right.
So after that, again this meditation I can stop and like I can do alternate days, or I can do morning one and evening something like that. What is your advice on this?
Doesn't matter. Don't be too bound with the rules.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter morning, evening, first day, second day. Every day is a new day. Do what you feel like on that day. Do what makes you feel good.
Okay.
Bottom line is we're doing it for a result that makes you feel good. So whatever makes you feel good. What may work right for you may work differently for somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah. So take your inner guidance, follow your intuition.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any courses are there like to guide further from, because this is the first time I'm interacting with you.
I've been doing regularly meditations morning and Thursday, every morning, Monday morning and Thursday morning we're doing the morning meditation. And I'm also doing every Tuesday I'm taking some new topic or some old topic talking on that. And every Saturday I'm doing breathwork evening 5 to 7. So you can go on my website shreyansdaga.org and you can find all the details about it and the link about it, and also share with Priya also to probably send it to you all and mail it to you all.
Yes, absolutely. We will all, I believe all of you are also registered, and the recording of this talk will also be there on our YouTube channel, right? So, as well as on Shreyans Daga's YouTube channel. Shreyans Daga, there are many of his
It's on
workshops
Thrive
which he's
YouTube channel.
Thrive
But
YouTube
doesn't matter.
channel.
I mean, as long as you have the recording anyway.
Yes, and we'll be making it available to all of you and sending an email to your email IDs. And I believe, firstly, I would like to thank Shreyans for your time. We've
No,
almost
my
taken
pleasure. It's my pleasure
two
that you
hours,
gave me the
and
opportunity. Thank you.
oh, we have three more people wanting to ask questions. Let's make it very quick, guys. Yeah, who's there? Who's asking? Yeah,
Hi.
Mahalakshmi ji. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Hi.
Personally,
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
fine.
you.
I'm in no rush, so I'm
Okay,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Thank you very much, Shreyans. This is Mahalakshmi from UK.
Yeah, hi,
Sorry, I
Mahalakshmi.
can't turn my video on because I have cold and I'm in a terrible. Visually, I'm not. I'm in a very terrible state. So sorry. Excuse me for the no
No worry.
video.
That's why I'm in UK yourself to be with you.
Oh, great. That's really great. That's great. So, I mean, I was able to connect with the meditation and it was really, really intense for me. And I was able to, when I was visualizing it, I was able to manifest it and instantly I felt very happy. But, and right after the second minute, the inner fears came out. The inner fears, which are like the hidden deep inner fears. I
Right.
mean, I was scared. I was scared. No, I was like, oh my God, what am I thinking now? Instead of visualizing my dream, now I'm thinking about my fears. So, I mean, is this going to be, is it a harming thing or is it,
So
should I
it's
just
more,
ignore it and carry on?
yeah, ignore it and carry on and focus, and again withdraw the attention. So sometimes your body, our body as a is a addictive. Uh, it has this. It is addicted to certain chemicals and certain emotions, right? And now when you're trying to change those emotions, your body wants to challenge you. Your body wants to go back to its own emotion, which it is feeding on since so many years. So that's why this fears comes up. But slowly, when we keep withdrawing it, and it's like a ping pong ball game. You keep withdrawing, and then you say, body, I'm not giving it to you. I am the mind. I am the master, and you're not my master. So then slowly your body will surrender. And then what happens is once you learn how to stay in this elevated emotion for a longer or a sustained period, then you change your hardwired pattern in your brain. Then that becomes a natural state. And you lose the old synaptic connections. There's a certain physiological change in your brain. You lose the old synaptic connection, and now your body will no more provoke you or evoke those emotions anymore. And you become your natural state. And also, it's a good thing that you express this, because a lot of times what happens is in meditation, we feel very good. And when we go back to our normal state, when we meet the same people, places, things, time, and events, and the same people will push the same emotional button, then again we'll go back to the past. So that's where mindfulness comes in. So be very aware of your patterns, your old patterns. And is this pattern aligned with my vision of future? Or I'm living the memory of my past. So be very conscious, very aware. Meditation means dhyan. Dhyan means awareness. So just be aware of your unconscious patterns. And the more conscious you are of the unconscious patterns during the course of the day, the less unconscious will go during the day. Those unconscious patterns slowly lower its volume, and to stop dominating you, it will lose its intensity. So that's why just the very act of awareness will help you lose its intensity. That's why Buddha said, seeing is freeing. The moment you are able to see it, you will start freeing it from it. So otherwise, if you're not able to maintain the modified state, then it's like, eating organic food during in the morning for a breakfast, and then having junk food during the day. So that's why with meditation during the day, the mindfulness is very important, so that you are maintaining that modified state. Anytime you know that you have lost that modified state, again take 5 minutes time, take 10 minutes time, again do the breath coherence or heart coherence, and connect to your source energy. And because your source is your ultimate resource, and then go back to you are ready again back to connect to the normal world.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more doubt? It was like in the second
Sure.
part of the meditation I had. So what you said is like, you said what you explained just now was like, coincidentally, I had a situation like, just yesterday, that which actually was pushing me into the same thing, that where people were pushing me into the same old emotions. And I was about to get into the same old pattern. Then I felt that no, this is a training situation given for me to implement what I'm learning in my meditation. So,
Right.
and thank God I was able to implement that with a lot of inner
Awesome.
fight, but I was able to implement that. So that was an achievement for me. And here comes my next question: is that when the gratitude phase came in, I felt immensely happy and blessed that, oh my God, I'm already so blessed with so many things. And why am I
Right.
asking again a materialistic manifestation instead of asking for a spiritual enlightenment? Am I thinking small? So
No,
I think I
that's the
got confused
beauty.
here.
No, that's the beauty. It's not about manifestation. It's not about the whole idea is what you become in the process. The beauty is you start with, oh, I wanted it. But when you feel so whole, you don't feel even the need for it. So,
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I felt it actually. Yeah, yeah.
so that's what Lao Tzu said. Let's be nothing. I heard it lasts forever. Because once you go into the state of nothing, you once you become nothing, somebody asked Buddha, what have you achieved through meditation? He said, I did not achieve anything. I only lost through meditation. I lost my anger. I lost my fear. I lost my jealousy. I lost my fear of death. I lost my guilt, my shame, my anxiety, my pain, my suffering. But when I lost everything, what I gain is pure joy, pure love, pure. That is my true essence. That is my true state. So through the meditation, what we are losing is those. When we are connecting to our true core, we are connecting to our true essence. And once we connect to our true essence, then we don't even care whether we want it or not, or we don't. But the beauty is the whether you want it or not, because now you're feeling it, you will anyways manifest it. That's the law of attraction, and nobody in this audience or is so special not to be excluded from that phenomena. So
Great.
yeah, that it
Thank
is
you.
that.
So it's not confusing the manifestation then, because I think deep
No,
down as a human, I would want a materialistic manifestation.
of course, the
But
moment you get up,
that phase I was
we
able
have
to.
our desires, we have our dreams, we came as a creator. But here we are creating from a deeper understanding, from a deeper feel. So Einstein said, you can you cannot create from the same level of mind from where you cannot change things from the same level of mind from where you created it. And it takes a lot of time for the matter to change matter, for the ego to change ego. So what we are trying to do is to change our energy field. We are becoming more particle, more wave, less particle, more energy, less matter, and everything came from energy. So once we go into the energy and connect from that source, then we are manifesting, because everything what we see around was first an imagination, first the thought, and then it came into a thing. So we are trying to connect to that source energy so that may manifest from that source, and so that it becomes very effortless, it becomes very easy. Because when you are manifesting from a different dimension which is beyond time and space, you collapse the time, you collapse the space, and that's why manifestation becomes so instantaneous. It becomes so faster. You change the timeline of your destiny, and that's why you're using it as a tool. So, but it's not necessarily that we have to use this tool. We can just do a simple meditation and not manifest, not visualize anything, and still be in a happy state and joyful state, which is again great.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Sanjukta ji, would you be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Shreyans.
Hi, Sanjukta.
Yeah, this is Sanjukta, and I'm so grateful to you because for some reason, I've been practicing one kind of Buddhism since 18 years, and this Buddhism, though we chanting also means that I'm devoting my life to the law of cause and effect, devoting my life to the universe. So I believe that because of the spiritual practice, I was the next step was to meet you and and Dr. Preeti, because I've been religiously watching all your videos, whatever. So I'm connected to your WhatsApp group, and I
Oh wow, thank you.
yes, I
Nice.
keep watching all of them, and try to be on time. So my question is, Shreyans, that in these 18 years there are many things I've been able to transform, because even in our practice we say that karma, and we can transform and many things. But Shreyans, there are few things which have been very rigid, And I can see that even so many years of practice, one or two things, which still, it is taking time to break through. And I just need a question from you, like the breakthrough transcendental, breath work that you do.
Yes.
So so is that going to help to transform the karma path? Because I can see that others are transforming, but there is one area which is not transforming at all for many years, and it is still stuck. So I just need some direction from you on this, that how can we really, so deep rooted karmas, how can we change those deep rooted karmas? And
Yeah. So are you still doing those chants?
yes, I still do those chants because I belong to that organization, but at the same
Okay.
time, yes, I like religiously follow your this breathwork sessions and those meditation sessions, and that has really helped me to transform a lot of things in my life. But yeah, there are some deep rooted things which I needed to know, that how can I improve my things to.
Sure. So I mean, you may reject what I'm saying. So just be open. So I'm not judging you, or no judgments, but just as a friendly guidance or a friendly advice. See, we in our spiritual journey, we start with, maybe it could start with religion, or maybe it could start with maybe some chanting of mantra. But once you come into meditation and once you come into self-empowerment process, you don't need to depend on anything outside for your growth, right? So it's like, when you're in a class 2, you don't, and when you move to class 3, you don't say, oh, I want to sit in class 2 also because class 2 was so nice. You have to move on. And once you go to class 12th, then you move to class 12th, then you forget about class 3. You don't even forget about the teachers of class 3, because now they are no more required for your growth. What is required for, so once, as you're evolving in the process, as you're evolving in the growth, don't be stuck with your old dogmas, your own belief systems. Like time and again you said, I'm following very religiously. So you don't have to be religious about anything, not even of your chants, not even of me. There may be 10 times better masters than me or better teachers than me, and if you find them, then you leave me also and go with them. So as you are evolving, you have to change your belief systems, your attachment to old things. You are not able to leave your attachment to old things. And once you leave your attachment to old things, there's a rigidity about you of holding on to old things, including your chants. As you said, I belong to this organization. Now, how do I leave it? I have to chant it. Why? Buddha never taught any chanting. Buddha himself did meditation, anapanasati. That's what he taught to others. Observe your breath. Did you see any Buddha statue chanting any mantra, or Buddha chanting any mantra? If you want to become a Tendulkar, you cannot say, I'll chant Tendulkar. You have to practice cricket, how Tendulkar practice. So now you're practicing it. But now again you have to still chant also Tendulkar. So I'm not against chanting. Maybe it was a stepping stone. But now that you move further, then move on, So sometimes chanting itself becomes a mental block. It's like, if you're crossing a river and you've taken a boat. So maybe that chant was a boat, but once you have reached the shore, the other side, so now you have to leave the boat also and then move on, right? So I feel I just reflect on this. I'm not trying to tell you that you should do it or you must do it. It's just a thought process which I've shared with you, and just reflect on it and see how it feels to you. And take the right steps.
Okay, sure. So another question is Shreyans, that thank you so much for this. I'll really reflect. And another question is Shreyans, I wanted to send you a mail, but I didn't, I had to search for your mail ID. But the question I want to pose you right now also, that there are many organizations which are supporting all these things, and it really helps people in really evolving. But my worry is that so many things are happening in English. and there are so many Hindi speaking, especially those who are very, in the lowest of the stratas, suffering to make two ends meet. But because of this barrier of English, they cannot get this kind of amazing benefits that we all are getting. So is there any way, or are you thinking in future of doing something about it?
Yeah. So that is my top priority now. So I'm going to convert all my talks into Hindi. So in the spiritual language, my spoken Hindi is not so good. So in terms of using the spiritual terminologies, So I'm scripting it all so that I can learn those terminologies so that I can express it in Hindi. And also I'm changing all the recording all my meditations. Now my top priority is, once I go back to India, record all these meditations in Hindi now.
Lovely.
So that of course it should reach the maximum souls possible, right? And of course,
Lovely.
Hindi is
Thank
the third highest spoken language in the world, and being from this country, I owe it to my country. So of course I want to.
Thank you so much, because right now people are starving, and I was just thinking that how can we all reach out to them?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
So yeah, we'll take a last question from Smita.
Yeah,
Dr. Smita?
Yes, exactly. See, this is not a question, it's a request. Like Shreyan have actually told that he is doing some practices in some days and some workshops in meditation. So when you are sending the email, can you please include that links or dates or, whatever it is.
Sure. So, and also we have
Taga.com, shreyanstaga.org, and
yeah, and once you register on it, then obviously we'll be getting all the mails.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much again to all of you, all the wonderful participants, for such beautiful questions. Also, big thank you to Shreyans for
My
giving
pleasure.
so
Thank
much.
you, Priya.
And
Thank you, whole art team, everybody.